Okay. How do you get over perfectionism?
Mm. Um, in video content or just generally stuff?
Well, whichever way you want to answer it, because
Um,
they both have an overlap.
a little bit. I guess like I think when you fail enough, you just kind of you learn to cope, right, with the fact that
Hmm.
you'll never be enough, which sounds awful, right?
Yeah.
But like, there's I think this is like working with a team
Hmm.
really helped this. I realized like if I'm the best person on the team sucks.
Hmm.
Because if everyone is worse than me,
Oh, dude.
you know what I mean?
I have I have a question for that too, but keep
Okay, I
going.
don't want to be the most perfect best person on the team, and that really helped for one. And then just understanding that perfection doesn't exist for
Hmm.
one, and then two, like especially with art, the mutations, for lack of a better word, is what makes it interesting.
Hmm.
Perfection is boring. It really is. It's really boring if you think about it. Like the only thing perfect, like obviously this is, excluding anything faith based, right? But
Hmm.
perfection is it really is boring. It's the nuance that makes things interesting, and just like even with videos, like I'll look back at like the Humphreys videos, like man, I was on that shot for 4 seconds too long. It's like okay, who gives a shit?
Yeah, seriously.
Like for one, like does it detract? Like I think having your eyes on the bigger goal really really helps with that.
Mm.
Like okay, yeah, this isn't perfect, but what does this do for the bigger goal? Right. Okay, that shot was 4 seconds too long. Does that detract from the overall vibe of the video, which is the goal? Right. With
Hmm.
Humphreys, the whole goal was a vibe. That's why all that music was picked out. Like I don't
Yeah.
have any other video that has that music in it or anything like that music.
Hmm.
And that's very intentional. That because like that's not the type of music that I listen to. But for that video, that was the type of music that's that trip, right?
Yep.
And so the whole like the objective of that video was to capture the vibe of that hike in a Flagstaff. And kind of it's really a video about Ethan, if we're like to really break it down. Like what is Ethan's vibe?
Yeah, I
Right?
felt like it was when I watched it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
That's why I like enjoyed it
yeah,
because I haven't seen
because
him in
Ethan's
forever.
awesome, dude,
Yeah.
right?
He's
It's
a cool dude.
like sure, like Humphreys is cool and the mountain's cool, but what's like infinitely more interesting is human beings,
Hmm.
right? So if that's the goal of the video, to capture this human being and like the interestingness and the depth of this person, right? This 4 second shot isn't. Does that detract from that? Not really.
Hmm.
Like oh maybe like I lose focus for a millisecond and then I'm back in, right?
Hmm.
But does that make Ethan look worse? Does that like if yeah like I said if the goal is to like to capture Ethan, does this for no it doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
take away
It
from the
doesn't matter.
goal. Hmm.
And so if the big like if we're focused on the bigger goal, these little things they really don't matter. Sure, there's like refining,
Hmm.
and it's like oh like now it's like oh I can fix that next time.
Hmm.
It's like okay I'll just do better next time,
Hmm.
right? But if the vision's intact, I find with videos it's okay to do that. Like I have a 6 minute video, shortest video I ever made, recent upload on the main channel. And the shoot was supposed to be much more interesting than it was. I turned it into like a minute and a half montage,
Hmm.
right? That's from my point of view, that's imperfect because it was supposed to be this more in depth thing. It just wasn't that,
Okay.
right? It's not there. It's out of my hands. I can't do anything about that. I wasn't in control of the shoot. I was just there
Yeah.
getting behind the scenes.
Hmm.
I can't, like, is it my fault that they weren't interesting? No, it's not. And so what do I have and what is the most perfect product that I can make from what I have?
The best you can make out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like there's certain things that are out of your control. And
Hmm.
so they really like taking them out of the equation was huge. It's like, okay, like I could look at part of the equation being that they weren't interesting enough
Hmm.
and somehow make that my fault, right?
Hmm.
And in reality, that's not my responsibility. And so that's completely out of the equation now. And my responsibility is to take the uninterestingness and make it interesting. It's a whole new goal. That's a completely different goal than capturing interestingness.
Hmm.
Interestingness. Wow, it's a very annoying word to say, right? If they aren't interesting to watch, my job now is not to capture how interesting they are and show you how interesting these people are. It's to make them interesting despite their uninterestingness in that moment. And so that's a completely different goal with a whole new set of equations.
Totally.
Right? And so the fact that the footage itself isn't interesting is no longer part of the equation. The new equation is this footage is uninteresting. That is a constant. And how do I change that footage for the better? Right?
Yeah.
And so
That's a lot.
oh, this was imperfect. Well, this isn't even the video. This is the video.
Yeah.
And everything here is like, quote, perfect because it's already like, that's what we're given.
Mm-hmm.
That is the baseline. And so, you know, the baseline can't be imperfect or perfect. It just is.
Yeah.
But I mean, from a video creation standpoint, that's kind of mentality there.
Yeah. That's the mentality I definitely am going to have to adopt, because when I'm editing my video, it's like, oh, that shot is there for 2 seconds too long, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going based off of,
I mean,
like,
during the edit, feel free to make the changes, obviously.
yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's just like, don't be, I shouldn't spend too much time into it if it's going to ultimately, like, prevent me from just uploading the video, you know?
I mean, you'll get faster at those types. Those things will become just part
Yeah,
of what
like
you
super,
do. Yeah.
super intuitive. Yeah.
Like, but sometimes, like I said, like I wish I might re-edit my Hawaii video. I'm halfway done with it.
Really?
I might just scrap most of it and re-edit it because I'm going too fast.
Huh.
The video, okay, so I've restricted myself to 22 minutes, 2 episodes of 22 minutes, like a TV show,
Okay.
just to make it more palatable.
Yeah.
The Yellowstone, both those videos is about an hour.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
reaction. Jeez.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was like, all right, this is Hawaii. I'm better at editing. Let's make it 44 minutes. But I'm finding that the charm and the organicness of the Yellowstone video is not in the Hawaii video. And I'm trying to figure out if that's my editing or if that's the footage. Right? And so that's just
problem.
that's just one of those problems I have to figure out. You know, I'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah. Do you think if you cut it down a little bit, like to 44 minutes, then like it's taken away charm, or?
There's not enough time for people moments.
Yeah.
I'm finding, and it's like, is there not enough time for people moments, or did I just not record people moments, like straight up? So it's video's been a struggle. So I'm gonna keep that footage. I'm gonna edit it again in like 10 years or something, and I'm just gonna compare it. Like, oh, this is what professional editor Ben made, and this is what amateur editor Ben made, and just I think it'd be fun to look at.
That'd be really cool. That'd be a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna do it, because it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would encourage you, because I know you've already made a video, which I don't know if you do you still have that DaVinci timeline?
Yeah, I do.
Take a picture.
Okay.
Take a screenshot of that. I don't have my first video timeline, and I kick myself every day for it.
Really?
Because I'm like, what was my brain processing in that moment?
Dude, there's earlier trip videos where like the timeline looks chaotic.
Yeah.
I can take a screenshot of those right now.
Take screenshots of them, label everything. I think have I showed you my timelines?
You've showed me some of them, yeah. You showed me
it's
like a picture of some.
It's
like a lot of blocks.
If I scroll through my timelines, they just get better and better and better, and it's just so interesting. Wow. It's also if you look at the timeline while you're watching the video, like obviously they're not interactable anymore because I've deleted the libraries, but I have a picture, so it's okay. Because I have no use for the library once I've made the video and taken the picture. Yeah. I can look at the timeline. I can like zoom in and be like, oh, this is this part. And this is what this part looks like in the timeline. And I can kind of see my thought process behind it. So that's cool too if you want to look back at that type of thing.
That's really cool.
Sometimes there'll be a moment in a video I was like, oh, I really liked how that felt. I don't remember what I did there. So I'll just go look at the timeline and like kind of see generally what the idea is in the timeline and be like, oh, okay, that's kind of what I was going for. So I can then duplicate that.
Okay. I'll definitely do that for sure.
Just for your own benefit too, you know.
It's a good idea.
It's like you know, the people are like, oh, this is what 100 days of piano practice looks like. It's kind of like that.
I've seen those videos.
But less clickbaity and just, you know, that type of thing.